What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another great edition of No Love Philly, the podcast dedicated to artists, activists, musicians, comedians, breweries, basically anybody in, around, coming through, doing something awesome in the city of brotherly love and making this place as amazing as it is. Today we've got an awesome interview. Do you guys like shit that's extreme? Because this shit's fucking extreme. Detatch The Islands, man. They are coming all the way out from Brooklyn, New York. They got to play the last day of Great How Have You Been Fest, which I really wish I would have been able to check out the whole event. I was not able to go on Friday, and I was not able to go on Saturday. But I did check out Sunday's show, and there were still some really great bands there. We got to interview two of them. This was one of them. We got to interview the homie Emmett, and he plays drums and vocals of the band. He's kind of the brainchild of Detatch The Islands. We kind of get into the meaning of it. We kind of figure out, just talk about a lot of different things about how some of his members each have, basically how he takes over the kind of the complete written process of it, and the process of writing the music, which is super interesting. And kind of like, this is his vision. This is the way that he sees his band, and he actually helps his bandmates do the same thing for some of their bands. And it was neat to kind of see. Like that model. This model of this is my vision. This is I'm going to write all the music. I want you guys to perform for it, and then I will do the same for you for your band. We kind of get a little bit more information about what the Brooklyn metal scene, I guess you could say, is like. It seems to be heavy. It seems to be working. It seems to be going well. But we get a lot of information from it. They are a super. I didn't actually get to check out their set. In fact, when I got to Great How Have You Been Fest, they had just finished. But what I did get to see, and you should check it out too. If you go to Slime Time Live's Facebook page, you will be able to see Detatch The Islands performing live, and it's mathy, man. It's very much in the vein of Dillinger Escape Plan or Norma Jean or something like that. So if you dig that and you're into that, and I am into that, then you should definitely check these guys out. I think this was their first Philly show. I do believe that Emmett has a connection here in Philly from the past, but as a band, this was their first Philly show. But it was good shit, man. It was really good shit, and like what I saw online, I cannot wait till these fucking guys come back, because I definitely want to check this shit out again. It's good. It's really good. So we were really happy to have Emmett there. And then that's really it, man. I wish I had some more to tell you. I think I want to start doing kind of like a. I know that like doing like the events and stuff or listing off shows can get kind of long. So I think I want to do two things. I think I want to do a 15-second show listing, and I want to do a 15-second review of like products or something awesome that pertains to Philly or has going on. But what we'll do is we will go ahead and go through our regular way of business. It looks like this week, if you're looking for something to do, I look at 5 bands, 5 kegs, $5, going down Thursday, November 30th at 8 p.m. And I guess this is going down at 1431 North 9th Street. And then you've got You Blew It Weekly Comedy Open Mic. Oh, that's awesome. I really want to get some more comedians on here. That's going down at Bubble Time on Thursday. It goes down every Thursday at 8 p.m. Sign-ups at 7:30. Final Drive, Kings and Liars, The Shape, going down at the Nail in Ardmore, PA, Friday, December 1st. Tralfamador, this is a fucking dope-ass flyer here. 7:30, December 2nd, $8. You get Psychonaut from Virginia. You get Plume. Fuck yeah, dude, that's going down at Tralfamador, 7:30, December 2nd. And then what do we got? December 3rd, you have Hey Shea Fest. Fuck yeah, dude. So, as a matter of fact, I'm thinking about doing this. It looks like there's going to be a bunch of bands. It looks like it's going to be it's going down at Bar 2300, Sunday, December 3rd. Starts off at 1 p.m., goes on to 11:30 p.m. And it's going to be a yearly Dobbs JC, the legendary family reunion and benefit concert. Yeah, so it looks like it's going down at Bar 2300 on December 3rd, and it's from DVT Entertainment. So I'm super curious about that. I'm really thinking about getting a booth there, and we will find that out soon. But for now, man, let's fucking get into this interview, dude, because it's going to be dope. Here's Detatch The Islands. This is our boy Emmett. Good shit, man, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you can see the level on there.
Yeah,
if
man,
if
it looks good.
Feeding.
Right on, man. So why don't you?
Oh yeah, we're in there, man.
Yeah, dude, we're golden.
It's a healthy signal there, Shane.
Yeah, dude, it's doing pretty well. So your name and your band?
Hey, I'm Emmett Ceglia. I'm from the band Detatch The Islands.
Detatch The Islands. So
That's
I
right.
missed your set. We're here at day 3 of Great Have You Been Fest.
Absolutely.
And we're at Slime Time Live. You guys just got done performing, and the rest of your band split. What a bunch of jerks.
I know, it's unfortunate. Everyone living in New York.
Oh, yeah, that's why. So
yeah,
this is kind of a big deal for you guys being out here, right?
It was our first time in Philly. I mean, we were supposed to play at 2:30, and then they pushed it back to 3:30, and everyone was like, "Okay, we gotta be in New York by like 7." So, yeah, it's too bad they couldn't stick around, but I think they got enough of an experience, and everyone who was around certainly got like sandblasted.
Yeah, dude. So I heard it was. Well, first of all, what part of New York are you guys from?
Brooklyn.
Okay, you guys are from Brooklyn.
Definitely.
So how did your band get here?
How did they get to Philly?
Yeah.
So I came in on a bus last night to hang out with some West Philly friends.
Okay.
Because I was playing in a band here for a little while, and that ended like in the middle of the year. So I still have like a good core Philly crew. So I was here just to hang and like have some Philly fun.
Right.
And then the guys all came in a car, all 4 of them.
So was there any reason why you took the bus and they took the car, or what?
Just because I was gonna be here the night before.
Okay.
Anyway, and I had just planned that out like a month ago.
Did you do Megabus? Is that what you used?
Bolt bus, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm like a Bolt bus member also, so I get every once in a while I get like a free ride, and it makes life easy.
Right on, man.
Yeah, I was dating someone in Philly a while ago, and so I was just like really Phillied out for a bit.
Right.
Even though I was living up there. Yeah, so they needed to do that to coordinate.
So, tell me, I missed your set, but everyone, like, it had apparently just ended when I walked in the door.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everyone told me that the shit was amazing. So tell me a little bit about your band.
Cool. So Detatch The Islands originally started as just like this one-man project from myself. I'm the drummer,
Okay.
But I write all the music and all the vocal parts and all the lyrics.
Wow. It's a pretty big responsibility.
It's insane, but it's a lot of fun, and I get to have that like not control, but that like one like unified vision come through, and it's a lot of fun to watch programmed music come to life. So what I do is I write everything on the computer in MIDI, even the guitars and everything, because I can't actually play guitar.
Oh wow.
I write it all out in sheet music, and then give it to the band.
Whoa, dude, that's intense.
Yeah, so they're getting their parts note for note.
Whoa.
And then we like try and replicate that as best we can, and then if that works, then we stick with it. If it doesn't work, then we'll like adjust. But
so what kind of music is it? I mean, how do you I mean, because they were describing it as like Dillinger Escape Plan. And I was like, what the hell? Like, what did I miss? So
it's in the power violence genre.
Okay, great.
Which is your way more extreme hardcore, you know. So Dillinger is my favorite band.
Okay.
And they're definitely like in the neighborhood of influences, but it's not explicitly like a Dillinger-y band. Like there's not a lot of kind of staccato stuff going on. It's more punky.
Okay.
I would say the biggest influence is this band from Boston called Circe.
All right.
They're not around anymore. CERCE. But they're fucking amazing. They're so good. They were around in the like Berkeley punk scene when I was at Berkeley, and yeah, they're a huge influence on the band, and my like writing and like understanding of that kind of music. So yeah, there's like Botch and Dillinger and maybe Little Daughters and stuff thrown in there, but that band pretty heavily. And And I really just wanted to do something that I like hadn't heard in hardcore before. You know, I don't feel like people are pushing that kind of harmonic boundary. So it's like really unrelenting sounding shit.
I love that. I love that. Unreal, like the band that just went on right now, Little War.
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck, they were brutal, bro. Like I
Mm.
can't wait to get those dudes on to interview them as well. So I love that, dude. And is there much of that type of scene in New York? Is it easy for you guys to find shows out there? Is it difficult? What's your spectrum on that?
I guess there is a fair degree of support for that kind of music out there, especially in Brooklyn. Like the New York areas are somewhat segmented in what kind of music they'll participate in.
Yeah, so being in Brooklyn, so do you try to find shows like outside of Brooklyn? Like, do you try to go like to the Bronx? Do you try to go to like, do you go to different spots, or do you kind of just stay in your little community? Or
No. Yeah, it's pretty Brooklyn.
all right.
Especially this one venue called St. Vitus, which is in Greenpoint.
Okay.
That's like kind of the nexus of this whole New York metal scene.
Fuck yeah.
It's the only real metal place out there. Not that other places won't let you play or like that you can't have a heavy show, but like that it's so metal that like the sinks are black. You know what I mean? Like the place does like amazing shit for heavy music, and Brooklyn is really receptive to more experimental sounding stuff. Like it's not, because this is not a meat and potatoes hardcore band like by any stretch. It's fast and loud, and that's about like one of the only things that ties it to traditional hardcore.
Right.
Otherwise, it's like sometimes it's very like polytonal, or like there's multiple time signatures happening within different instruments, and it's all kind of this like swirling, undulating chaos, and the bass and the drums are kind of like playing the song.
So getting back to that, you're saying that you're kind of the sole, writer of all the music here. You
Right,
can't
yeah.
play guitar, but you do it in MIDI, and then you go and you write these notes out, right?
Yeah.
So is it difficult to find band members who are down to be with that model?
Somewhat. Actually, I had the original bassist and vocalist quit because not any animosity, but just they were like, this is not the kind of band that we really want to be in. Like, we want more creative input. And it's not like I won't have people submit ideas or anything. Like, the last song in our set is the first completely collaborative song that we have, and it has our old vocalist on the recording. But it's predominantly just what I write, and then the band brings to life, really. And I can't have the band without them.
Right.
I'll be totally clear about that. Like, it's not something that can exist without the guys being so, amazing at their instruments, and like having such good chemistry with each other and myself. The band wouldn't exist. It would just still be ideas in my head, but everything is pretty much just coming from me musically.
Wow, man. So like you definitely does take a specific type of person, right, to be like, yo, okay, I'm down to get it. So what do you think and I wish they were here to answer for themselves. It's a little bit redundant, but what do you think I guess what makes them willing to be like, okay, fuck yeah, like I'm down with this shit. Like I see your vision, and like I want to see it go through. Like
I think that's it. I think they just hear what's being presented and go, I fuck with this so hard that I don't need to do more than play it. I want to be a part of this, and I want to see it through, like you just like you said, and that's enough. And I think if the music wasn't fulfilling enough, they wouldn't want to do it. Totally not trying to toot my own horn or anything like that, but I think because all those guys who play in this band, whether they're permanent or filling in or anything, are top-notch guys. So if they didn't think it was worth their time, they wouldn't sit down and learn the stuff, because it's not easy to pick up. Like, you can't really just listen to it and I got it. You have to sit down and like listen to the isolated tracks and look at the sheet music and do all that stuff and really put in some hours. So if the music wasn't enough for them, then I don't think they would bother.
right. So so how did you come across your current lineup?
So the main co-conspirator is his name is Jay Kohler. He's one of the guitarists. He was the first guitarist I had, and I saw him play in his band called Juan Bond. Juanbond.
All right.
And they're kind of Dillinger-y, but more like Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum influenced also.
All
So
right.
it's like spooky mathcore.
Okay.
So cool. They opened for another mathy proggy metal band I was in called Auto Catalytica. And I saw Jay do a front flip off his amp. And I went, that's the guy.
Wow.
And then the other guitarist, his name is Sidhu. And Sidhu has a band called Semaphore, which Jay and I were subs in for a couple of gigs. And then we needed subs. So then he subbed for us. And we're just like, why don't we just be in the same bands? This seems so simple. And then suddenly we're all in 2 or 3 bands at the same time, like just like that. And so those bands kind of function the same way this one does. Juan Bond is quote unquote Jay's band. He writes everything, gives it to everyone. Semaphore is quote unquote Sidhu's band. He writes everything, gives it to us. And this is quote unquote my band. Write everything, give it to everybody.
So it's not. So it seems like it's almost balanced. It's almost like hey, I see your vision and I'll help it come to fruition. Can you see my vision and help it come to fruition? And then it just kind of works itself that way, right?
Right. That's a pretty good summation of it. And their bands are becoming more and more collaborative. I can't speak for Juan Bond because I'm not actually in the band, but Semaphore is definitely being more collaborative. And Detatch The Islands is like. The light is like cracking in a little bit more. Like the guys will give me riffs and we'll practice and we'll like work on stuff in practice. And for now, I'm really focused on like charting out the rest of the record. And we have like 3 more songs to learn. So I have like 6 more lead sheets to write.
Oh, dude. Wow, man. So like, speaking of New York, it's already so fucking tight and like in regards to like space, like fucking just like finding a place to live. Where the hell are you guys practicing this fucking heavy ass mathcore shit that like the neighbors aren't like down your throats about it?
You can't practice at your house.
Okay.
There's just no house. There's really no house scene. One, because no one's in a house. There's nowhere to do that. So I have a rehearsal space in Brooklyn that I also rent. So I have an apartment and then I have the rehearsal space. I'm renting both. And then I can basically I share that with like 6 other guys.
The rehearsal space.
Right. I split it with like 6 other people.
Fuck. So how much is a fucking rehearsal space in New York?
The one we have is like $800.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like
it's like another apartment.
Between 6 or like.
Oh, it's split between 6 people.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
yeah. And then so it's like $130 a month ish. And then it's about the size of this like room that we're in right now. And for anyone listening, this is a bedroom. So
Yeah.
it's like maybe 15 by 15. It's not huge. But we got like 4 drum sets in there and like 5 amps and yeah, we make it work. New York makes you make it work.
Wow, what the fuck? So how does that work out with 6 different bands? Everyone's gonna be like wanting to rehearse on a Friday, Saturday night or something. Like, how does there's like a schedule or what? Like, how do you guys even like not at each other's throats about like who's gonna be where when?
There's a very organized and well kept calendar.
Okay.
Just a lot of communication. Everyone is just on the same page about or setting up the calendar, putting in their time, and sticking to their time. And if you if you want to give up your spot or switch with someone else, you have to talk to them. And this is it's not involved, but it's just very clear cut, very direct. Can you help me with this? Can I do this? I want to be here this time. And people are really, really fair about giving each other space and like making it work.
Wow, dude, that seems like such a fucking process. Like, it just seems like that would be like insanely like difficult to pull off with so many different personalities involved in that. Are you friends with the bands that are in your rehearsal space, or like how did you end up like finding these dudes to like? How'd that happen?
So the way I got into the space was through this band called Bangladefi.
Okay.
And we are all really good friends with them. the bassist and I now are much better friends, and we share. He's the one who like brought me into the space, and the guy who's on the lease, who's we all rent from, quote unquote, the one guy who's responsible for the rent.
Exactly. Right.
He's another like Berkeley drummer guy, so
Okay.
we were able to kind of click on that, but otherwise I don't really know anybody else in there.
That dude's got a fucking huge responsibility dealing with fucking 6 different bands who may or may not have the rent money that month.
Right.
Wow, man.
Yeah, I used to be him. Like I used to have a space that I was the quote unquote landlord of.
No shit.
And I had 13 different renters.
What the fuck?
So it was cheap. It was like $60 a month a person, but you had to fucking lasso those guys in
Really?
all the
dude?
time. Oh yeah, it was heavy.
Oh my god, I can't even imagine like trying to collect from 13 different bands. Was that a difficult process in itself? Was it like where?
It wasn't different bands. It was all different like individual people.
Right, got you.
This one is a little easier because I think Dan, who's running the space, doesn't have to deal with the individual band members. It's just like one central person is paying that rent. And so for me, I am just the one who's responsible, and so I can put any one of my projects in there, and then it's easier for people to practice there because for them it's free, you know.
Now, I would also imagine like there has to be this kind of unspoken like bond, which would be, hey, don't steal my fucking shit, right? Like, I mean, you're talking about a whole bunch of amps, a whole bunch of shit. You don't know anybody in these 6 fucking bands, and you guys are just leaving it there. Like, does that ever fucking make you nervous at all?
It's something I can't really afford to think about. So it's because, you know, if I actually worried, you'd never sleep. You know, you have to just trust that everyone else understands that everyone's life is just in there.
And in your experience of doing that and being in these different spaces, the rehearsal spaces or whatever, have you not experienced anything like that? I mean, you say you don't even think about it, but have you ever like?
The last space I was in, there was a little trouble. The other people were like smoking in there and just like making a mess, and no one's gear was like broken or anything.
Wow,
though.
dude, if that's the biggest thing that you got to fucking worry about, I would say life is pretty good in New York when it comes to like renting space. That's
Yeah.
good to know, man. Like that's a key piece of information for somebody else that might be listening and be like, hey, man, there is this option and it could happen, you know, and generally pretty safe and nothing that you have to worry about. Like you're able to go in there and do your shit and leave your shit there and not be worried. That's fucking amazing, man.
Yeah, I'm very lucky because there are shithole people out there, dude.
Yeah, dude.
You know,
there's
they're
a
out
shit
there.
load of people. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
like, you never know what the fuck. Like for me, I would love to network or do something where I would be able to like, just like you're doing, but for the podcast, to be able to leave like equipment there and just like have a little studio, you know, at the same time.
Right, the same kind of space.
Yeah, exactly. So like that, maybe that I'm not. I mean, I don't mind it. I love one of my favorite parts about doing this podcast is I get to come to like different parts of the city and do different things, and meet so many different people and be, you know, get these a wide range of experiences. But there's another part of me that'd be like, it would be so dope if I could like have some seats out and like have a fucking just, you know, a studio, an area where I can go to and say, meet me here at 6. And I'm not the one driving all over the city. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. And this is like your home base. It's always ready.
Right.
I forget who said this, but it's a very wise quote
Yeah.
that goes something along the lines of, you need to be near your tools, and your tools have to be ready for them to be actually useful,
Right.
and for you to be like a productive artist.
Right. Right.
You know, I have at home, I have my like mixing set up and everything in there, and it's on. I walk in, it's on.
Right.
You know, my keyboard's ready to go, it's on. I can write stuff if I've like something comes to my mind. With the rehearsal space, it's a little tougher because you have to very deliberately, here's the time I've got these 3 hours, and I need to go in there with a mission. I can't just go in there and kind of fuck around.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes you need to do that. Like, this is the time I'm gonna go in and fuck around.
Right. Right.
From 8 to 11, I'm fucking around.
Right. Right.
But that's it. You know?
That's awesome, man. And so, like, how many times a month do you think that do you guys actually get to go out and rehearse? And do you usually reserve like 3 hour blocks? Is that like kind of the norm?
Yeah, 2-3 hours for this stuff is usually enough because, like today our set was like 25 minutes.
Right.
It was like 8 songs.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on in 2 minutes. Most of the songs are like 2.5 minutes. Some of the stuff that'll be on the album is a little longer. Like there's a few 3-minute songs and like a 4-minute song, but
Right.
there's a 1-minute song. There's like 2 songs just over 2 minutes. So yeah, most of the stuff is like 2.5 to about that.
So let's talk about your live show a little bit. I mean,
Sure.
obviously you're doing a lot. You're doing a lot of rehearsal, and you're trying to pack in so much in such little time. From what I understand, totally missed your live show. Didn't get to see it. Don't know shit about it, right? But I hear that you're pretty notorious for taking your shirt off. Tell me a little bit about that.
I have been known to do that every show.
All right.
It's hot, man. It's just so hot up there. I would keep my clothes on if I wasn't sweating so badly.
Right.
And that basically just came from when you're drumming and actively, and I'm very active on stage. I'm not like twirling a baton around and like leaping on my seat or anything, but I'm moving.
Right.
I play a lot. I play like a lot of, and this music is just really fast, and there's a lot of fills and a lot of like double bass, and it's intense. So if your shirt is wet and stuck to you, you are impeded.
I bet.
It's just hard to move around as efficiently,
So
and then you can't breathe. Like your body can't breathe. You're overheat really quickly. So it's just honestly very practical. I'm really not trying to be like attention seeking.
I thought you were just showing off those bitchin' abs of yours. I was
Hey,
like, all right,
hey.
awesome, man.
It is just a nice bonus.
All right.
But the live show of the band is really intense.
Yeah, dude.
Really intense.
Just from what you're describing, you know what I mean? Just like what you're describing, what I heard, just fucking 30 seconds after your show, everybody was like lit. Like, what the fuck? Daniel, who wasn't even playing, that dude's all fucking sweaty and mucked up. I was like, yo, something fucking went down here. You know what I mean? So that's so rad, dude. I'm glad to see that it's like a really immersive live show. There's something to be said about that. Like I can tell you right now, I've never been a huge fan of. I was never a really big fan of Anti-Flag, but I just recently got to interview them, and I got to see their live show, and that shit, they fucking pop off. I was like, wow, dude, like I wasn't expecting that, I know that all bands like to do, have some sort of stage presence, but it's completely fucking different. Like the vibe in the room is completely fucking different. When you're talking about, no, dude, I'm fucking up here for 25 fucking minutes. You're basically doing like P90X down there, jumping around and shit. You know what I mean? Like there's a certain amount of energy that comes with that, and you're all fucking, like you said, your shirt's all saturated where you got the point you got to take it off. You know what I mean? So like, that's really cool, man. So what's going through your mind as you're fucking doing that live show?
Well, it's like you have to have like 2 brains. One is you keep track of the music because, like we were talking about before, it's pretty intricate. There's a lot of moving parts, and it's a lot of like linear kind of structures, and sometimes there's like micro changes going on. Like there'll be like one guitar will be playing like a 5-bar progression while the other one's playing like a 3-bar progression, and just kind of like let that go in like 3 long cycles until it all comes back around.
Right.
So you have that going on that you have to keep engaged with so you can not get lost. Because sometimes it's like a house of cards. If one little thing is off, if one note's off, the whole vibe is not ruined, but it's not as intense as it or is intended. And then you have that like academic thing happening, and then you have this primal other half, which is like pure catharsis. The whole set is just one long exhalation of just it's relentless. The show is just gets you on the throat and just like never lets you go until it's
over. I
over.
love that word, relentless. Like that's how I felt about the band that Little War. Right? That was fucking relentless. And that shit amps me up, man. That's like I need that in my diet daily. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like So that's awesome, dude. Detach the Island, right?
Islands, the
Right.
islands.
Okay, give me a brief history of the name there. What's
um, so when I was starting the project, a lot of what I was going for as far as like musical theme or just like message, quote unquote, the intention is the just getting rid of the extraneous things in your life. You know, shedding the things that don't really matter, that hold you back, that are no longer productive, and we hold on to a lot of those things. Sometimes we cherish those things that hold us down. So I wanted to create in a space originally for myself that I could be in to feel letting go of all that. And so in my mind, the image was like a central continent, the U, quote unquote, with these islands around it, all with big chains hooked into it. So that's like all your unnecessary baggage. And then the band would be like blowing the chains off.
Very
And
cool.
you're, shedding all this. So a lot of the lyrics deal with that, whether it's in your relationship or politically or like not just your relationship to other people, but your relationship to yourself. And like I have Crohn's disease, so I definitely write lyrics about that, and just like all the like just dealing with those things that you don't want to let rule you. You know, you want to be you. You don't want to let life chain you up and make you into something that you don't want to be.
Right on. Anything else you want to add? Anything that we missed up? You got an album or anything that you want to promote, or any people get a hold of you?
So we have a couple things in the works. Right now we have a demo on Bandcamp, just 3 songs, and that's with our old vocalist.
I'll just keep talking. I'm pretty sure 100%.
Sure.
Go for it.
The demo's up there. It's got 3 tracks. We have a single that's in mastering right now, so hopefully we'll get that cooking by the end of the year. That's going to come out on Mathcore Index. Shout out to Mathcore Index and all the support that they give us, and everyone in the like hardcore, mathcore, grindcore, core community.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
Not core. Almost core.
The and then we're working on a full length also. So most of the songs you heard tonight or would have heard tonight were from that. It's gonna be 10 tracks, be like just under 30 minutes, and there's definitely some dynamism to it, where there will be like parts that give you kind of a breather, but otherwise it's just your eyes are just wide and like clipped out.
Bitchin', man. Thank you so much for your time, dude. Really appreciate it, and good luck to you. Hope to see you guys perform sometime in Philly.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate you sitting down with me.
You bet, man. Take it easy.
Bye.